Michael has never brought me to tears. Did he upset me a lot? Yeah.
The greatest basketball player to ever live, Michael Jordan, is largely at fault for producing arguably the biggest basketball bust who has ever lived, Kwame Brown. Let's dig in and find out how. Hello, and welcome to Sports Votes, presented by Data Productions, uncovering the untold, lost, and forgotten files of the sports world. Today on Sports Vaults, we will be breaking down how Michael Jordan almost single-handedly is at fault for the demise of Kwame Brown's career and promising potential. The year was 2001. Michael was 2 years into his second retirement in 1999. He became part owner and president of basketball operations for the Washington Wizards and had final say in all personnel matters. The GOAT, in all his power, had the #1 pick in the 2001 draft. And with all his basketball knowledge and experience, he decided to take a talented high school player with loads of potential, Kwame Brown.
The Washington Wizards select Kwame Brown from Lynn Academy, Brunswick, Georgia.
Being the first high school player to ever be drafted #1 overall, Kwame Brown entered the 2001 NBA draft being compared to the league's greatest power forwards. Visions of Kevin Garnett, Karl Malone, and Chris Webber danced in the heads of scouts everywhere.
6 blocks. There have been comparisons, guys, to Kevin Garnett in the terms of athleticism, to Chris Webber for his low post game. And what a moment here it is for Kwame Brown.
Brown's physical abilities were unquestionably impressive. At 6'11" and 240 pounds, he had freakish athleticism, a very good shot blocker, and very graceful running the floor. With tremendous leaping ability and passes and handles extraordinarily well for his size. He had an NBA body right out of high school, looking every bit of the part of a franchise big man. Knowing that he was chosen by the GOAT, Brown knew he better live up to the hype. Now Oklahoma City Thunder coach Billy Donovan, who was recruiting Brown while coaching at the University of Florida, recalled the time when Brown told him of his draft decision and forewent his scholarship. Brown said, "Coach, I don't want to do this." When Donovan asked why, Brown responded, "If I'm the #1 player taken, I know the expectations. I'm so far away from being the #1 pick. I'm not ready for this." On the flip side for Jordan, knowing that this was his first major splash as a GM.
With trading the pick, what possessed you to keep him and go for Kwame Brown?
Well, obviously, you can see he's a well-educated kid. I think he's done a lot in terms of his basketball capabilities. I think it's up to Doug as well as the Washington Wizards to help this kid develop, and he certainly has the skill.
MJ knew this pick had to pan out for his basketball reputation.
None could change our minds in terms of what this kid could do in the long range for the Washington Wizards.
And if you look at the 2001 draft class, you see that there wasn't many NBA players that had outstanding NBA careers. Outside of players like Tyson Chandler, Pau Gasol, Joe Johnson, and Zebo, this draft was not filled with elite-level NBA talent. So this is when both individuals' worlds collide into something that doesn't turn out for the better. Then Michael decided to make his third comeback and play for the Washington Wizards. After being drafted, things started off good. Michael was taking Kwame under his wing, being the father figure Kwame never had, invited him over for workouts at his house and everything. But of course, it's what the naked eye couldn't see that ultimately doomed Brown's career. A lack of mental toughness, desire, and aggressiveness. And Michael sensed all of this. So MJ broke the 19-year-old down, made him wilt like a flower instead of wilt like a Chamberlain. And the former #1 overall pick never lived up to his hype as a player with actual discernible basketball skills. So what exactly did Michael Jordan do to Kwame Brown? Once Jordan saw that he was soft, he attacked Kwame like a shark sensing blood in the water, pushing him extra hard in workouts and calling him a flaming consistently, the derogatory word for homosexuality. At 19 years old, coming from a tough background with no father figure, becoming the #1 pick with so much pressure, and add on that you were drafted by Michael Jordan, not only the greatest of all time, but the most intense and insane teammate of all time as well, it was all but over, even before Kwame's career had a chance. Jordan played with Kwame for his first 2 seasons, which statistically were underwhelming for a top draft pick. Both years the team went 37-45 and missed the playoffs.
So many people want to make up stories about Michael Jordan that he could have been the greatest guy in the world to me. They still would have made up something.
MJ finally officially retired for the last time, and Brown would go on to play 2 more seasons as a Wizard before being traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, where he had to deal with MJ 2.0, Kobe Bryant, playing 3 seasons there before he eventually got relegated to the bottom 5 players on any NBA roster.
Kwame Brown may be a scrub compared to Shaquille O'Neal. And if he's able to maintain one of those jobs for 10 years, there's no way he could be a scrub.
Relatively, he's a scrub.
No,
What?
no, he
What?
can't be.
Are you? Did you just say that with a straight face? Did you just say that with a straight face?
Do you guys realize that somebody's paying him millions of dollars to play basketball?
Unfortunately, they are.
His career stats were 6.6 points a game and 5.5 rebounds, only averaging over 10 points per game once in his career, which was his 3rd season in Washington.
Where are the X's and O's? Where's the number? Where's the numbers at? Everyone says I can't play, but no one has my numbers when I do play.
In relative terms, he played 12 years of NBA basketball and made over $63 million in contract earnings. So he's far from the biggest bust ever, in relative terms. Being picked number 1 overall by the GOAT came with expectations that I think no man, not even LeBron James, could live up to. So I think we have to chalk up Kwame Brown's lackluster career to bad management on both sides. But in what was reported on how Jordan treated Brown as a teammate, I'd give Michael 90% of the blame and 10% to Kwame for just being too soft.
You know, I'm in the history books. I made history.
What's your take on this topic? Do you believe this story? Let me know your thoughts below in the comments, and subscribe for more investigation content like this. Join my Patreon today for only $5 to receive a monthly esoteric documentary on your favorite sports athletes and events. Real, raw, uncut, and uncensored without the limitations of YouTube. Join today to see the other side of the sports world.